Hi guys, it's James here from Optics Warehouse, your night vision and hunting specialist, and today we're doing a bit of a lengthy comparison video. Now what we have done in the field previously is we have compared the HIKMICRO Alpex to the PARD DS35, both of them as centerfire scopes. However, what we're going to do today is compare the brand new Cheetah from HIKMICRO, which is the more compact LRF night vision weapon scope, against the DS35. Now, PARD DS35 has been out a good few months now. As we all know, it's a nice compact scope, not too heavy on there. Of course, got the LRF and the illuminator right there on the top. So we're going to go through both scopes. Obviously, my thoughts on both. You've seen already that we've done videos on the PARD DS35 versus the Alpex. Obviously, that's pushing it out to range. And what we'll also do in this video as well is show you some footage up to 100 meters, which is really because we're going to be focusing more on that sort of like capability, so maybe air rifle, rim fires, that sort of area, because having looked through the Alpex and the Cheetah as two HIKMICRO products, obviously I think the Alpex maybe that more versatile scope which you can use across a broad range of things, whereas I think the Cheetah, although you can use it across the whole board, it certainly comes into its own element up to that sort of 100 yards, especially with all its own inbuilt technology. So without further ado, let's go do a quick brief on both scopes and then we'll just run a quick comparison. So this is the HIKMICRO Cheetah. This is the weapon scope configuration with the laser rangefinder on the front, as you can see there. Runs off an 18650 battery, which goes into the top and has this removable eyepiece should you wish to turn it into a clip-on at a later date. The IR itself is covered up by this cap. When you put it into nighttime mode, that automatically turns on. And as I have said in previous videos about the Cheetah, as much as I like the ability to actually change it from a narrow to a flood, to a spot to a flood, you can't unfortunately change the power of the illuminator. Looking onto the side, nice simple menu system. You've got three buttons. You've got your zoom there, so you've got your 1 to 8 times digital with a 2.7 times optical base mag. So that obviously gives you roughly sort of like 3 to 24 times if it were to be an optical mag scope. Sorry. You press it once and you get your recording. You've got your laser rangefinder there. You can set that to single or continuous over a variety of seconds, etc. And then of course you've got your on and off button as well. Laser rangefinder secondary function, if you press and hold that, that changes into your automatic, your day, night, your nighttime mode, etc. But as you can see here, nice small scope, very well suited to maybe the closer range rifles of your gun cabinet. So that those air guns, those rim fires, that sort of setup, it really will fulfill the aesthetic of what you're looking to achieve. And on the front, you can see a nice knurled rubber focus ring, different material from the rest of the scope, so if you are following around for it in the night, you can feel, there you go, there's the rubber bit, so you just move it left and right to then adjust to where you need to go. Flip up cap on the side, obviously of course, remember when you're using the IR and LRF to flip it away to the side there so it doesn't interfere, because of course if you have it there, you're not going to be able to see anything. And that just protects the bit of dust and bits and pieces that come in it. Two screws on the bottom, as you can see there, two screws on the bottom there, and that works with the standard HIKMICRO rail system. This, of course, can be used for the, as well as the Cheetahs, can be used for the Panthers and can be used for the Thunder rail systems as well. And that, of course, goes onto a Picatinny system there. And if you need to, then of course you need to buy a Picatinny rail for your rifle should you need to. So that's just a quick run through for the Cheetah. The PARD DS35, as we all know, as I say, has been on the market for a while now. Scope chassis on there, so it can mount on any 30mm rings. These are the particular rings that happen to come with it. As you can see, they are Picatinny, and it is quite a high one. And that's just to make sure it covers all bases. Of course, if you have your own rings at home, fantastic. Away you go. Much the same as the Cheetah. You've got a nice simple menu system on the top, and of course you've got your on and off button. So that allows you to then very simply go through the primary and secondary functions of each button. On the top, you've got like your main menu, so obviously you turn that, press it down, hold it, and you can go through your various functions. The only thing I'm not a fan of with the DS35, to be completely honest with you, is obviously on some scopes you can, if you're going through the menu system, when you get to the bottom, if you just keep going, it just recycles back to the menu, to the top of the menu. But with this, you have to start going back the other way, and that obviously when you go on other menu functions, you can't just keep going around like they say the zoom, for example. You have to click and bring it back to go through various other bits and pieces, which it can be a bit of a nuisance sometimes, but not that much of a hindrance if I'm completely honest. It's probably me just being a bit of a perfectionist. LRF and of course the IR built in on the top there. That illuminator there, you can obviously unscrew that one there, and then of course move move the IR about all over the place, so it's more set for where, obviously, what sort of target you're looking at, what sort of distance. So that's obviously going to be positioned differently if you're shooting at 50 yards, if you're shooting at 100 yards. And of course that just then tightens up there and away you go. Can't adjust the direction of the LRF, unfortunately that is fixed on the actual unit. What I do like about the DS35 is, of course, they've introduced this throw lever to it. It's very nice and easy. So let's say you've got it mounted up like that, and you can just very easily just move it about like that. Of course, if you're right-handed, that's easy peasy. Maybe not so if you are left-handed, but as I say, just nice and easy to adjust there. Now, the DS35, because it comes with a 0.001 CMOS rating in terms of the actual light it can take in, it's got this nice little filter here on the front. So when you're using it during the day, you simply click that open, and that opens the aperture there, and obviously then you just close it. And that's for daytime use, not allowing too much light to white out the image. And then when you've got it at night time, you open that one up, and there you go, you've got the full lens to use at night time. This is the 70mm version. The 50mm version hasn't quite landed yet. 50mm version will have a lower base mag than the 5.6 mag that is in here. And that will have a lower base mag, so obviously it makes it better for closer range shooting. But as I say, same chassis, so obviously it's going to be a similar sort of setup. Only 2 magnifications on this. You've got your 5.6 and 11.2, so you can only scroll between the two. There's no difference. There's no bit in between where you can't select 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You either go 5 or 11. That's just another little niggle with the DS35. But other than that, fantastic bit of kit. So what we have done is, if you have a look in a minute or two, we've actually just collated some footage together. I've got our Felix, our friendly fox. I've put him out at 100 yards, and all I've used the stock illuminators with both units. I've gone through various parameters. I've used it in the daytime setting, I've used it in the nighttime setting, and of course with and without IR. So there should be a few options for you there to choose from. What I also did is I took them both out on a moonlit night as well. So having a look at them both, how well do they cope without having to use IR, but can you still quite clearly see the target? And I tell you what, there are some very big differences between the two scopes. From what I've seen on the videos, I won't spoil it too much, with its own IR, PARD DS35 wins, but when you're looking for that sort of real low light transmission, trying not to use any IR, then the Cheetah comes out on top on that one. So have a look at the footage next, and then obviously we'll come back to it, and we'll just run through a few more bits and pieces. So first, you can see here we've actually got the PARD on day mode, quite late at night sort of thing. You can see obviously you're not getting any usable image, but now we've got it on night vision mode without any illuminator, and you can quite clearly see that there are some more features visible. Now you can't quite pick up the target still, but what we are using is the ambient light. So it does have, obviously with that CMOS sensor inside, the ability to sort of withdraw that sort of target. You can quite clearly see the gate out there. But there you go. So obviously using the LRF, which does use an infrared light, that sticks out like a sore thumb, and obviously I'm pinging that sort of like 96 yards away. And here we go. We just come on to turning on the IR, and there you go. So the one that comes with it, as you can see, is obviously of quite a good ability. Now, as you may notice on here, it's just slightly down to the right, but it's obviously I'm focused more on the magnifying between the two different magnifications. You can, of course, adjust the IR to be more in line with the target, and you will be able to see it a bit more clear. There you go, just going through a few of the IR brightnesses, staying at the same sort of distance. There you go, just flicking up to it again. Of course, you can move the IR around on that one, and there we go, no IR showing on that one there, but the same sort of distance. Now we have the Cheetah, as you can see, day mode, and this is sort of a real low light situation, nice and clear crystal. And then we've got it in black and white mode, no illuminator, but you can still clearly see. So this is where the Cheetah sort of comes into its own. Without the illuminator, you really can pick up the details quite well. I'd say a bit more so than the PARD, but of course you do have on there as well a lower base mag, rather than the sort of the 5.6 base mag that you get on the DS35. You saw an IR flicking around then, that was me with the PARD, obviously moving it around a bit, hence why it's moving left to right. And then here we go, nighttime now with the illuminator that is built in, up to 100 yards, that's really sort of the maximum distance you want to be using the IR that's built into the Cheetah. Let's say it's optimized for up to that 100 yards, and you can see there, just proving it, I'm just going into flood, and it does just tend to lose the image slightly. However, when you put it back into spot, there you go, you can pick up your target quite clearly from a distance. Right, okay then, I hope you enjoy the footage. Obviously, as you can see on there, there were a few differences between the two. As I said, in the twilight mode, the Cheetah really does come out on top. It's the same, similar, or I won't say the same, but very similar technology to that of the Alpex, where you can really see in those low light conditions. As you can see on the video there, not just obviously a colour picture when it's moonlight, but obviously a black and white picture when it's moonlight, and that still draws out the target just as well. Obviously as you can see from the video, the fox doesn't stand out properly like a fox. It is like a 2/3 size fox, and I tried to get the eyes to illuminate up, but you can still quite clearly see the fox out there into distance. Now, a good thing is obviously both these scopes, they come in at the same price, not only exactly the same price, so it's going to be a decider as to what you choose between the two. And what we are going to do is that's up to 100 meters. So I'll be honest with you, I think that's probably right up to the limitations with the stock IR of the Cheetah. But obviously, as we all know, the DS35, that can stretch out a bit further. That is a bit more capable of those further distances. But at 100 meters, up to 100 meters, it's quite close between the two. What we are going to do is I'm going to get George, obviously you've seen on some of the videos here, he's going to go out ratting with the Cheetah, and he's also going to go out ratting with the DS35. We're going to have a look. Let us know what you think on that one, because then hopefully that gives you an idea of stuff that sort of ups that 50 yards, and you'll hopefully see the Cheetah come into its own, and obviously see the high image quality that you get with the DS35 as well. So, just in summary, both the scopes, fantastic pieces of kit. Obviously, as I say, with the DS35, you do get that nicer sort of scope feel to it, obviously with the extended eye relief on the back there, so you can make it adjustable to any sort of stock chassis system that you may be housing. Obviously, it makes it more versatile for, say, like a variety of different rimfires, bullpup air guns, all that sort of stuff, really. And then the Cheetah doesn't offer, maybe in its eye relief, it offers that lightweight, compact aesthetic, and obviously makes it a nice little setup. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. So I hope I haven't bored you too much, but all I've done there is I've just gone through, obviously, the PARD DS35 and the HIKMICRO Cheetah laser rangefinding weapon scope, both coming in at the same price. Both of them run off 18650s. Of course, both of them have very different magnifications, different sort of light sensitivity, and both have very different designs as well. So two very, very good night vision, day-night vision scopes to compare. As always, if you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to obviously leave a comment below or drop us an email, give us a phone call. All the sales guys will be here on hand to help. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've been James, your night vision and hunting specialist, and this has been another video by Optics Warehouse.